You were at the Niners camp. What insight do you have on the quarterback depth chart order when it's all said and done, Steve?
Brock Purdy was playing that day, was practicing that day.
Yeah.
And we had Kyle Shanahan on the set with us, and I asked him, because last year I was there, in camp, and and it was so different because Jimmy Garoppolo was banned to the other practice field. He wasn't even going to be on the team. They were going to trade him as soon as they could.
Right.
And then Trey Lance was taking every snap, or in the ones, and so much has changed in the last year, right? Because now Brock Purdy is the starter, and Kyle said he's healthy, he's ready to go. He has no limitations. So they got him on a little bit of a pitch count, which is smart. Every now and then they'll give him a practice off, so he doesn't overtire his throwing arm or his elbow or his torn UCL. But he's the starter. And so there's a battle for backup. But with Trey Lance, who they traded up in the draft so much to go get him, and he's battling for number 2 with Sam Darnold. It's really interesting. They've got 3 quarterbacks that are very, very capable, I think. And who knows? They might end up trading Trey Lance.
That's the question about it, Steve. But what's the sense you got there that you're willing to share? Because everybody talks once microphones come off or whatever. But
the sense about the quarterback situation.
About Lance. The fact that he, that's all you hear about him is how talented he is. The upside is great, huge ceiling, and he just needs the reps. He needs the time, and it doesn't seem like he's going to get it again. Last year was the time for him to get it, and he had to, get on a cart in his second game, and the rest appears to be history. Is it a lack of snaps or ability? Best than for your
No, I don't
knowledge.
think it's ability. I think lack of snaps is really comes into play here because his last year in college was a COVID year, so he didn't do anything.
Right.
Then he comes to the pros as a youngster, wasn't old enough to rent a car, and he didn't do anything, and so he's so far behind in terms of playing in live situations, and so they were so high on him last year, Rich. I couldn't believe it. He was going to be the next Steve Young. And it's been the injuries that gotten him. It's his ankle is he got hurt in week 2, and so the poor kid has had the injury bug. And if he stays healthy, he's big enough, strong enough, athletic, smart, and all of it. It's just he's been hurt, and it's that simple. But you got to be available, like Joe Thomas, 10,000 snaps in a row.
Right.
You got to be available, right? And you can be you can be. Joe Montana, but if you miss most of the time, you're not Joe Montana. And so, anyway, that's his deal. And you're going to see him. They're not going to play Brock Purdy, I don't think, in the preseason. So you'll see Trey Lance quite a bit in the preseason with Sam Darnold.
Okay, so then you'll get a sense of things. So then I'll ask you a game day morning type topic bar question that you then are forced to answer. Your best guess: Sam Darnold was brought in for Purdy insurance or Lance insurance, and you can't say both, Steve. You cannot say both.
Purdy insurance. This is my guess. I don't know for sure, but I think if Trey Lance plays well in the preseason, okay, because I think they know what they have in Sam Darnold. Smart guy, experienced guy. He went 4-2 with the Panthers last year. I mean, he's been around a little bit with your Jets, and and he'd be a heck of a backup, and he's a good mentor kind of guy, doesn't rock the boat. If Trey Lance can show well in the preseason, I think there were a lot of teams that liked him when he came out in the draft and had him graded as a first-round guy. And so I think teams will say, hey, look at him, he's back, he's healthy, and would be willing to give up a nice draft pick or two to go get him because, there's such a premium on having a healthy quarterback and a guy that's capable. Maybe somebody gets hurt early in the season before October, trade deadline. I think that might be they might be able to get some draft picks back.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.